Mr. Dashwood died and left his estate to his son from a previous marriage. His widow and 3 daughters got almost nothing. That is how the story starts, with loss. Before the Dashwood women can leave, John and his wife Fanny arrive. Fanny manages to talk John out of giving the women any meaningful financial help through a masterclass of incremental justification that ends with them not even getting a proper gift. The Dashwood women move to Barton Cottage in Devonshire, offered by their kind cousin Sir John Middleton. It is small, it is damp in certain corners. It is nothing like Norland. Marianne cries about the piano. Elinor unpacks efficiently. Sir John Middleton is loud, generous, and constitutionally incapable of letting anyone sit quietly. His mother-in-law, Mrs. Jennings, finds matchmaking a full-time occupation. Together they are the social engine of the county, and Elinor's second greatest trial after Fanny. Edward Ferrars, brother of the detestable Fanny, visits and is everything Fanny is not: shy, kind, genuinely good. Elinor likes him. She will not say she likes him, but she cuts her conversations short so she can think about them afterwards, which is essentially the same thing. He and Elinor bond over their shared sense of humor and mutual preference for a quiet domestic life. They quickly fall in love. Marianne twists her ankle on the hills in a rainstorm. A dashing young man on horseback appears, scoops her up and carries her home. His name is Willoughby. He is handsome, literary, passionate about music, and appears to share every opinion Marianne has ever held. She is completely done for. Willoughby visited every day. They read Byron together, debated Cowper, agreed on everything. He gave her a horse. Marianne assumed this meant they were essentially engaged. It seemed fair. Colonel Brandon, quiet, steady, 35, and clearly suffering from Marianne's complete inability to notice he exists, is the anti-Willoughby. He watches Marianne with an expression that Elinor recognizes as something real, even if it will go entirely unrewarded for several hundred pages. Without warning, Willoughby tells Marianne he has been called to London on business and must leave immediately. He was cold and brief and nothing like himself. Marianne watched him go and couldn't understand. Elinor watched and felt afraid. At a social gathering, Lucy Steele, sly, flattering, determined, pulls Elinor aside and reveals she has been secretly engaged to Edward Ferrars for 4 years. She shares it as a confidence, knowing exactly what she is doing. Elinor's face does not move. Her interior life is screaming.
What are we going to do?
Elinor must keep Lucy's secret and her own feelings about it entirely to herself. She continues to be kind to Lucy, attentive to Marianne, and composed in public, while privately dismantling something she had allowed herself to quietly hope for. In London with Mrs. Jennings, Marianne writes to Willoughby repeatedly. No reply comes. She waits by the window, she checks the post, she loses color and sleep. Elinor watches and cannot tell her what she suspects, that Marianne's heart has been handed to someone who will not keep it. Marianne finally sees Willoughby at a London party. She crosses the room to him eagerly. He bows stiffly, makes polite noises, and returns to his companions. He is already engaged to the wealthy Miss Grey. Marianne cannot speak. She has to be taken home. Willoughby sends a letter denying any attachment and returning Marianne's letters tied with ribbon. The letter is formal, cold, and almost certainly dictated by Miss Grey. Marianne reads it, then reads it again. Then Elinor holds her for a long time. Colonel Brandon tells Elinor the truth about Willoughby. He seduced and abandoned a young ward of Brandon's, leaving her pregnant and ruined. He tells Elinor not to spare Willoughby, but to help Marianne understand. He is grave, kind, and does not ask for anything in return. Learning the truth about Willoughby broke something in Marianne, not just her heart, but her certainty. She had been so sure of him, of her feelings, of everything. When the secret engagement to Lucy Steele becomes known to Mrs. Ferrars, Edward's mother, she disinherits Edward on the spot and transfers all favor to his younger brother Robert. Edward, to his credit, still won't abandon Lucy. He loses everything. Elinor hears about it and says nothing. The Dashwood sisters return to Barton Cottage. Both are worse than they left. Marianne has survived something. Elinor has survived something she cannot say aloud. The hills are beautiful, and the cottage is small, and they are very tired, says nothing. Marianne, unable to rest, takes a long walk alone to a spot that reminds her of Willoughby. She gets caught in the rain. She is already unwell. What follows is a fever that nearly kills her and forces everyone, including Marianne herself, to confront what she has been doing to herself. Nothing. For 3 days the fever didn't break. Elinor didn't leave the room. Colonel Brandon rode through the night to fetch their mother. No one slept. Everyone was afraid. Willoughby came to confess to Elinor while Marianne lay upstairs ill. He said he had loved her. He chose money anyway. Elinor pitied him slightly and forgave him nothing. Marianne recovers. The fever breaks. Mrs. Dashwood arrives to find her daughter sitting up and asking for food. The household exhales. Elinor, who has not cried once through all of it, goes outside alone and cries into a bush. While everyone was dealing with the fever, Lucy Steele, in an act of magnificent social self-preservation, abandoned Edward and secretly married his now wealthy brother Robert instead. Nobody saw it coming. Mrs. Jennings is delighted. Elinor nearly laughs for the first time in months. With Lucy married to Robert, Edward's engagement is dissolved. Not by his choice, but the result is the same. He is free. He has no money, no mother's favor, and a small church, living arranged by Colonel Brandon as a kindness. He is also quietly free. Recovering, quieter, stripped of certainty, Marianne begins to actually see Colonel Brandon for the first time. He has been there through everything, fetching her mother, organizing help, asking nothing. She has never noticed him. She begins to notice him. Edward arrives at Barton Cottage unannounced. He is there for approximately 4 minutes before Elinor understands he is free, and approximately 6 minutes before they are both saying things very carefully around what they actually mean, in the finest Austen tradition. Edward tells Elinor he loves her and asks her to marry him. Elinor, who has been holding everything together for 300 pages through grief and secret-keeping and pure willpower, bursts into tears. Edward is alarmed. Mrs. Dashwood is thrilled. It is the right kind of undone. Marianne does not fall dramatically into love with Colonel Brandon. She arrives there gradually, through observation, through gratitude, through understanding what she had previously dismissed. It is quieter than she thought love would be. She finds, to her surprise, it is better. Fanny found the engagement deeply offensive to her family dignity, and said so at length. Elinor thanked her politely. Marianne did not bother. Both felt this was appropriate. 2 weddings, Elinor and Edward, steady, quiet, real. Marianne and Colonel Brandon, deeper than she expected, better than she planned. Both sisters found love, though differently, and by different routes. Sense and sensibility, as it turned out, were not opposites.